Guys, I lost $10,000 shorting Bitcoin. Absolutely disgusting. I said to you guys I was going to short Bitcoin with around 1% when we got close to this resistance. Why? Because I'm a trader, guys. And look, every time we've come close to this resistance, it's marked the top. It's marked the top. I thought it was going to mark the top again, whereas repeating history looked very similar to this last move. And we have broken through it. And I was waiting for confirmation, and we actually closed above here. And we closed the weekly candle above, guys. For the first time since 2017, we are in price discovery with regards to this resistance, right? This has never happened since 2017. As a trader, I had to short it. I had to trade it, guys. I didn't want to bet on this time's different. I never really tend to go with this time's different, but I do react to different situations, and we are clearly breaking through resistance. Now, as you guys know, why did I trade with 1%? Well, you know, the clue's in the title, guys. I didn't really have super confidence in this trade, right? The market is a completely different market to how it was last cycle. We've got ETFs accumulating. We've got BlackRock marketing. We've got President Trump. We've got the White House behind Bitcoin. It's absolutely crazy, the adoption we've seen this cycle. And I didn't really want to trade with 5% or 10%. Even though it might have returned huge amounts, I didn't really want to risk so much money. So I only traded with 1%. And, that means that if I try and short Bitcoin even 10 times and I get it wrong, so let's say I short 230, 250, 270, 130, 150, 170, I'm only going to lose 3, 4, 5% each time I try of my portfolio, and it still leaves me with 95% to go into the bear market for accumulation. So that's absolutely fine, and that's why I traded with 1%. Look, do I want to lose? No. Am I aware that I'm going to lose sometimes? Absolutely, guys, and this is why I trade with smaller amounts. And I've won a lot this cycle, and I have some breathing room to take some L's, right? I can't win every trade. I think my success rate was around 72%, and I am aware that I am going to lose some positions here and there. So it sucks. It is what it is. I don't get emotional. We have to keep it moving. I did post on my X saying a lot of people are happy my short got liquidated. So a lot of people actually piped up to shoot me down, and for good reason. I've been a massive wind up when winning so much this cycle. So we've taken some amazing trades. We've called some crazy support levels, and we've made a lot of money. I think I made like $500,000 just longing and shorting Bitcoin after Trump won. It's all entertainment, guys. I don't want anyone to lose money. That's genuine. I genuinely don't want anyone to lose money, guys. And I'm really happy for everyone who is longing and longed Bitcoin and still has their long positions open. And, those who have held the bag. I already copped a property, a motorbike watch, so I already hit my targets, guys. All I wanted was my own property. Anyway, regardless of crypto, I just wanted my own property so that I'd never have to work again. Because some of you guys know I do other things. I'm a musician, etc. And now I have a property. I just know I never have to work again. That was the only goal for me, is just not to have to go back to a normal 9-to-5 job. And I surpassed that. Everything else is a bonus. I don't need 100 million. Yes, I want to try and make 100 million. I don't need it. I'm going to try and make it. Yes, I'm just saying I literally don't need it. And anything else I make is an absolute bonus. I'm proud that I managed to take profits in the pumps. I am still proud because it was very, very hard to do. Everyone was bullish back in March 2024. Everyone was bullish. Everyone was saying higher, higher, higher. But we were actually taking profits, and we sold render at 12.30. And it's been down only for 14 months, guys. So every month people have said, alt season, buy the dip, alt season, buy the dip, alt season, buy the dip. For 14 months they've been wrong. And we literally gave two signals. Buy here, down here in the bear market at 0.5, and then actually three signals because I bought more at $1.60. And the first time we started to take profits was at 12.30. Okay, so in my opinion, absolutely nailed this cycle. And I'll tell you what I'm doing next, because I still don't think it's over. Now Bitcoin is at 121. It pushed 123,000. Very different situation, right? Very different situation. We're in a blue sky breakout. Many things are undervalued. when Bitcoin is doing what it's doing right now, okay? And in my opinion, altcoins have been going down for 14 months. They're running out of reasons and excuses to stay down when Bitcoin is at such high numbers, which I'm going to do loads of videos on that, because there should be a trickle down of money, and also Bitcoin should go a lot higher now, which should bring up the rest of these market caps. So very proud that I took profits, genuinely hope those holding into the end of this cycle print. This actually raised a subject in my Discord, and a lot of people said, look, we know you bought down in the bear market, because a lot of people joined the group late. They said, look, we know you bought down in the bear market and you're sort of taking profits and your bags are packed, but we actually came in a little bit later to the cycle and a lot of things are down 80-90%. And they said, what would you do right now if you were just coming into crypto, everything's on discount? Would you trade it? Would you play? So I've actually built a portfolio as if I was new and just coming into the space, with 5% of my portfolio, right? So 5% of my portfolio, so 50K. I've built a portfolio for 50K that I expect to do well over the coming months. And I'm going to go and do reasons and videos on each one and why. I've still got my initial long holdings, right? So I've still got my Casper, my Solana, 30, I think it's 30% I've got left. But I have added an additional 50K portfolio, mini portfolio, which is going to be changing. I'm going to be taking profits. I'm going to be maybe swapping things out depending on certain setups. But I've taken that 5% 50K portfolio, and look, I'm not trying to make 100x, guys. I'm just trying to flip this into, I don't know, maybe 200K, 250K. I'd be more than happy with. And you don't have to have 50K. Look, some people could follow along with 5K. Some people could follow along with $500. Doesn't matter. It's all the same percentages, right? So we're going to get into that on this video. First of all, Bitcoin is broken out. We do have still green candles on Bitcoin, which usually results in upside. We've only just broken out into these green candles as well. The weekly definitely closed above. Okay, so there were some arguments there. And what did I say? I said I'm not going to take another short here, because if we do touch this yellow line, I think we're going to see a lot of new shorts opened, because it's classic resistance, right? I tried to get in a little bit early because I thought it might get front run. I said two scenarios, right? It's not just going to tap this level and come down. It's too perfect. It's probably either going to get front run, or we go much higher, right? We tap the line and we go much higher, because a lot of people will have entered shorts at 115 to 120. And now they really need to push it higher if they want to liquidate those shorts, right? And those shorts are going to have to keep adding to their positions and adding to their positions, trying not to get liquidated. And then it can just be a massive cascading effect. And I do think we are going to go a lot higher, especially after this resistance has been looked at by so many people. A lot of people are going to switch stance when you break through resistance. Because you can get these big moves. This yellow line is historically where the bull run ends. And we are seeing Bitcoin kind of move how it historically has, right, guys? It kind of just has a blow off top towards the end of the cycle. I was worried that we were going to see a repeat of this. You see this M pattern here, and rejection into bear. It was looking very similar to me, and maybe it was an intentional, I don't know, but it was looking very similar to me. I still do think we are going to have, some sort of a bear market and a correction. Just remember, guys, the higher we go, the higher the floor is going to be for the next bear market. So really, I was hoping for, a bear market here so we could get some nice cheap Bitcoin. If we start to push up higher and higher, the chances of us having a 70% correction and coming all the way back down to these levels is very unlikely. I will say the faster we move up, the more aggressive the bear market sell-off is going to be, right? Because when you start to move up very fast, you don't have the same support that you would if you're moving up steadily, right? Like here, for example, huge support, like so much support around this level here, if we ever see it again. That's kind of what you want when you're moving to the upside, because you build up these really solid floors. And again, we couldn't even get close to that level before we got front run. So yeah, if we do start to get these very short parabolic moves, it does really act as weak resistance on the way down, right? And you kind of lose the levels quite fast. So something to take into consideration. Okay, so now what's the next trade setup? this is what I'm doing right now. So first of all, yesterday I took some longs on Ethereum. The weekly closed above on BTC. Ethereum is so undervalued right now because of Bitcoin's move to the upside. Ethereum hasn't even broken out of the of its all-time high. It hasn't even surpassed its all-time high. I'm going to do a deep dive on Ethereum and tell you why I think it's going to climb. Most of the sell pressure has been down to Grayscale, and the Grayscale sell pressure is starting to curve around and starting to go sideways. And I think we're probably actually going to start to see inflows on Grayscale, which could be a catalyst. There's lots of good stuff going on with Ethereum. I don't like it personally, guys. I think it's slow. I think it's expensive. I can't deny that Solana is faster, cheaper, and is a retail favorite, right? That's where I see retail going to. Chains like Sui, chains like Solana. I'm always going to be invested in competition who are faster and more effective. But I cannot deny the institutional interest in Ethereum with Tom Lee now as a maxi. He's now become an ETH maxi, even advising people to sell some BTC and go into Ethereum. Plus the Bitcoin move, you know, it makes it extremely undervalued. And we can see that in the volume, right? The volume is up 113% in 24 hours. $30 billion worth of trading volume. BlackRock are buying Ethereum. All the Robinhood are using Arbitrum, which is obviously a layer 2 on Ethereum. So we're even seeing TradFi, massive TradFi giants jumping on this on-chain assets, on-chain real estate. And for now, I'm saying for now, Ethereum is the go-to for RWAs. It's the go-to for institutional clients. I just don't like that you've got all this liquidity split across different layer 2s, and Robinhood are you building their own layer 2 in cooperation with Arbitrum, and you've got this massive liquidity spread, and then Ethereum, the main layer, is expensive and it's slow, and there's no real solution for those fees. But we do see institutions adopting it and potentially having it as the main underlying foundation for stablecoins. So yeah, I can't deny that. I'm probably going to keep a little moon bag just in case. I don't want to watch this thing go to $5-10 trillion and I don't have a moon bag. So I am going to probably keep a moon bag. Maybe I'll load up in the bear market. You know, I don't know if now's the right time to build a position, but I'm definitely going to trade it, right? I am expecting more upside right now. So let's go and have a look. So I took some longs on Ethereum. I took a DGen long 20x around 299. So I think it's up. I think it's up a bit. What's the price today on Ethereum? 3039. So it's up a bit. It's not up that much. I took another long position on 10x around 2988 with 1%. Okay, so a much bigger position. Because we got that breakout, it was highly likely that we were going to see the rest of the market start to move up. The trader, so I have a professional trader in my Discord, guys, that I pay monthly. Very, very good trader. And he actually posted to long BTC at 118,000 with a stop loss 50x. So congratulations if you took that trade, guys, because I think it went up to 123k the next day. So really, really good call from him. And I'm still in my ETH trade. So we did flip long. Now, I did mention in the Twitter post saying, what's the next altcoin trade? And a lot of people obviously mentioned that they don't have they're just coming into the space, and obviously they think that we're going to have a blow-off top, and it's quite possible we have a blow-off top. So yeah, I did post this saying I might build a little DGen portfolio for fun. I might build a little DGen portfolio for fun tomorrow, like a blow-off top portfolio, which I don't care if it goes to zero. Okay, so remember that, guys. This is a very dangerous time to be building a portfolio of any size, especially down here. Fine, right? When everything's down 90-95%, absolutely fine. Up here, you know, in the pumps, very, very dangerous. But this is kind of why I'm kind of dabbling into it. Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Okay, so very dangerous. The S&P is also at all-time highs, so very, very dangerous. But the FOMO, the euphoria can continue, as we do see in these blow-off tops and these massive FOMO. Sometimes you can draw retail in. I personally am a little bit pessimistic because I feel like if retail didn't hear about BlackRock, if retail didn't hear that the president of the United States is a crypto maxi, and every news channel has been shilling it, who hasn't found out about it by now? So I'm a little bit pessimistic. I feel like we are potentially trying to squeeze blood out of a stone going into the next Q2, Q3, Q4. But hey, I'm on board, but I'm only risking 5%. I'll only risk 5%. I could go and put 50% in. And you know what? I think I'd really end up like James Wynn, right? Losing all of my gains and deleting my account. So for me, it's not a low risk situation. So I am only trading with 5%. So please bear that in mind. Alts have come down for 14 months. Okay, so this is one of the main reasons I'm jumping back on the bull train, is because Bitcoin is 123,000. And when we sold Render here, when we started to take profits from Render in a lot of our portfolio, Bitcoin was what, 50, 60K here? 65K? So Bitcoin has doubled in price, yet most altcoins are down 70, 80%. Okay, and it's a long way back to all-time highs. So we might see a lot of money coming down from Bitcoin, I hope, into altcoins when eventually the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall. And we might see that traditional altcoin rally just because there is so many gains and profits that people have made from buying Bitcoin this cycle, right? Serious money down here. If we look on the monthly, it came all the way down to 16K, guys. It's now 123K. So whilst Bitcoin has been going up in a straight line, altcoins have been coming down for 14 months, and we haven't seen that blow off. We haven't seen the blowout from altcoins. And if we look at a lot of the charts, I won't do it on this video. I'm going to do videos on everything that I've bought. I bought Render, by the way. That's a little heads up. If we look at a lot of the charts, you can see it here, can't you? You can see there's a resistance all the way down, and as soon as we break this resistance, technically we should be in for one hell of a run. If the momentum continues, we're going to need the S&P to go up. We're going to need BTC to go up. Okay, so this is why there's added risk. We're asking for a lot of circumstances to happen, but there is some catalyst, right? Jerome Powell potentially might hand in his resignation because he got caught lying in front of Congress, and Trump is going to use that as leverage. And if he does get fired, that is a massive catalyst because Trump wants to cut the rates by so much. He literally keeps talking about rocket ship. He literally wants to pump the market. And I think he will not be good long term for the markets, but I think short term we'll see some explosive pumps if that happens, if that event happens, which might happen this week. Okay, so what else did I post here? So like a blow off top portfolio, which I don't care if it goes to zero. Alts have been coming down for 14 months now. Some are down 95%, which is wild for BTC as 180K at the time. It's risky times, it's risky times, so I'm not going mad. I'm just going to YOLO degen portfolio for a final push. Now, I will say to you guys, I did ask, what do you think, what would you prefer to see, like a high-risk portfolio or a diversified? Most of the squad chose for high-risk, absolute degens, and 40 went for a lower-risk portfolio. I did go with the majority. You guys pretty much, what you say goes, right? So I looked around and tried to build a degen portfolio, and everything I went into, I was looking for things that smart money were buying and smart money were getting into. And everything I found, they were getting into projects and they were just dumping a few weeks later or a few months later. And it was just this churn of, hey, let's create a new project. It pumps, it looks like it's doing well. Okay, let's go and do another project. Let's do another project. Let's do another project. And I couldn't even build a portfolio of new utility degen projects because they were just pump and dump and pump and dump. So I went with what I would do as a lower risk play, but with altcoins that are down so much, right? I think it's crazy to go and chase all these pump and dumps when altcoins are down 70, 80, 90, some are down 95%, guys. And Bitcoin is breaking at 123K, right? I think, in my opinion, it makes more sense to go where the money's likely to go, where the money's likely to trickle down to. And we have to think like the whales inside Bitcoin, right? Let's say you've just made 100 million in Bitcoin. You see altcoins are down 90%. You know what comes next? Usually the money trickles down. Usually, I say. This time, obviously, we're seeing a lot of things change. But, in my opinion, they're going to go to the renders, right? They're going to go to a lot of these projects. Solana, still down, I think, 50% today. A lot of the money is going to trickle down into the bigger caps, the more established projects. And I think I'd be crazy to not take advantage of that and try and chase these 100x's, these 1000x's so late in the cycle, right? So late in the cycle. And considering we see time and time again, they just do this, right? They do this. Oh, it's the next best tech. It's the next best tech. See you later. On to the next project, right? Next best tech. See you later. A lot of them are doing this. And the cool thing about these projects that are down 90%, these altcoins that are down 70, 80%, is they've kind of done this for 14 months, right? They've done this for 14 months. And so many of them are coming back to their bear market support lines. Not only that, we're getting loads of buy signals from the SMC bot, and we're breaking out of these trend lines. It's the perfect setup for a massive rally when you've been consolidating for 14 months, and then if altcoin season does return, it creates a nice opportunity, especially for those who have made huge gains in BTC, to trickle their money down into some of these lower cap alts. And they'll probably do what we're doing, right? They're not going to go and put their whole $100 million profit into altcoins. They'll probably just put 5%, into altcoins, which is 5 million for one of these whales, right? And then that means 5 million comes in and pumps up the coin, and more whales come in and pump up the coin. We really do need that money to trickle down, because I don't know if we're going to be able to suck retail in with all the events that we've had this cycle already, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. So a few people have been asking, what would you do if you were new coming into the space right now and trading for a blow off top portfolio? So that's kind of what I would do. I've stuck in 5% of my portfolio. So don't forget, I'm trading with money that I'm prepared to lose. Doesn't matter how much. So I could build this portfolio with 500 or 5,000. You don't need $50,000, guys. That's just what I'm personally trading with. Money makes money, though, right? So if I was doing this with $5,000, I might be trying to turn it into $15,000 or $20,000, right? Same with $500. I might be trying to turn it into $2,000, $50,000, trying to turn it into $200,000. Money makes money. I would make $150,000, whereas someone else might make $1,500, right? So I can't stress that enough. Once you start to gain capital in this space, it really starts to scale faster, right? And you can lose it just as fast, which is why we have to have strict discipline. This can change at any time, and of course I'll create alerts. So I'm going to do alerts whenever I sell something from this portfolio, whenever I buy something, maybe I swap something out, maybe I have got a meme coin in there. I've got two meme coins in this portfolio. So maybe I want to get rid of one of them, maybe I take profits, maybe I sell at 2x and buy something else. I don't know, but I'm going to post it in the Discord whenever I make changes to it. I'll also make deep dive videos on each. So you're going to see that on the channel, guys. I'm going to do deep dive videos. I'm going to show you the technical analysis, the on-chain, what the smart money are doing. I'm going to show you the insiders, because I went through some of these projects and there are some serious insiders who are buying some of them. I saw one whale had $90 million in their wallet, and they were DCAing into some of these altcoins that are down 80%, whilst everyone else was panic selling and selling. They were actually accumulating, and they started to accumulate more and more aggressively. Okay, so it wasn't actually a token that I was planning to buy. It's a layer 2 on Ethereum, so I wasn't actually planning to get into layer 2s on Ethereum for various reasons, which I've talked about before. But there was a whale with $90 million buying up the floor, right? So I think this is probably for a reason, and they probably know something we don't. I'd like to think if you've got $90 million and you're buying an asset that's down 80%, you probably got some alpha. You probably know something, right? You're probably not just taking a wild guess. So please remember, the S&P is up 30%. Bad inflation data could come at any moment. Likewise, Powell could hand in his notice at any moment, which could send the markets. And that's definitely not priced in. Maybe the smart money got confirmation of it this weekend, because we saw loads of smart money were actually buying over the weekend. So basically, it's an extremely high risk situation, hence I'm only trading with 5%. We could be at a top at any point whatsoever, and the entire market could collapse and nuke, right? That's how I'm going into this year. And we could also likewise have this FOMO blow off top, where retail come in, Bitcoin goes to 150, 160k, and we get this massive retail FOMO, and all of the whales start to take some profits from their Bitcoin and go into altcoins. I don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know how it's going to play out. I just know that my risk up here, as opposed to buying down here, this is where I bought most of my altcoins. is crazily different, right? The chances of me making a loss down here are what? 3%, 4%, 5%. The chances of me making a loss up here are 50%. Right, it genuinely probably is like 50% or higher, maybe even higher, because the S&P has almost broke a record for how fast it's done a V-shaped recovery. But for now, we still got lots of institutional FOMO, guys. So the trend is your friend until the end. What else did I post here? So basically, it's an extremely high-risk situation. BTC is breaking new highs, and altcoins are still close to their bear market lows. Many have been trending down for 14 months. It's wild, and if they are to break out, BTC on a rampage is usually the time when it happens. So this is usually, we need to see an altcoin rally soon, because if it's not going to happen when BTC is on a tear to the upside, when is it going to happen? Again, maybe why we are seeing the smart money deploying stables. So that was the smart money right a lot of the time. So notice how on the weekend the smart money actually started to buy up, and now we're seeing these rallies really start to take off. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna show you the what I've bought right now. Some of the guys might still need to accumulate. I only posted this recently, but I did put 10k into Ethereum. Okay, so 10k of the 50k I put into Ethereum at 2999. And I'm going to show you, probably I'll try and do one each day. I think it's like 10 things I bought, and I'll try and do a video on one every single day. Of course, guys, I'm still holding my 30% Moonbag in Casper, Solana, the rest of them. But this is a new side quest portfolio. I told you as well, Render was one of them. Ethereum is so undervalued now. I expect it to go to an all-time high of Bitcoin. You're going to need Bitcoin to continue rallying, but the powers that be can't let this run into a bear market with no all-time high. Imagine how terrible the asset's going to be, because it would be another 3 years before it made an all-time high. So that means it would have been like 6 years of just trending down for 6 years. It's a very hard sell trying to sell that to institutions. Solana also hasn't really moved yet. It hasn't really moved yet. It's still 167. I think we started to take profits at 250, and it still hasn't really even got close to that. Volume on Solana is up again, 87%, so that's good. 6.4 billion. So I think Solana's going to have a move. Don't forget, we've got the ETFs coming for Solana too. Actually, I can show you, I did put 10k into Solana as well. Okay, so Solana was the second buy on the portfolio. So 10k ETH, 10k Solana. These are kind of my safety nets, and you know, if they 2x, that's 20k. So if they 2x, I'm already on 40k, right? So if they 2x, I'm on 40k, and I only put in 50k. So the rest is kind of like riskable. It's very riskable. Those are my safety nets. I don't want to make a loss. That was my most important decision on creating that portfolio. Where can I put at least, 30-40% of this where I have a high chance of not making a loss? And then I've got the rest of it, that way is my gains size, right, where I could potentially make some serious gains. That's it for now, guys. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know your top target. Where do you think Bitcoin is going to reach the top? Let me know what you're trading. Let me know what you're looking at, what your plans are. If you want to come into the Discord and you want to join us, don't forget to head over to my X. So head over to my X account. Here's the channel. You can see the name here. Once you get in there, jump in the Patreon. There's a link to join the Patreon, and once you're in there, you can get access to the Discord, and you can get involved with us. You can see all of my trades, everything I'm doing. You can see the pro trader as well, the professional leverage trader. If you go to this section, pro leverage trades, you can see his trades and what he's posting. I don't think, since I hired him a few months ago, I don't think he's finished a month on a loss. Like, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he's made gains every single month. So yeah, very, very good trader. And you can obviously see my portfolio. You can see the stocks that I'm buying, because we've been buying stocks as well. I'm really bullish on quantum. And you can see on-chain data. So we've connected this to the blockchain. So you can actually see we're tracking a lot of people's wallets. We were tracking James Wynn's transactions, so you can see in real time when these orders come through. Here you go. So for example, smart money signal, so we can see exactly what the smart money are doing when they're buying tokens, what they're buying, when they're selling. Very, very powerful data, and we get this in real time as well. We're tracking loads of KOLs as well, so we can go and see what all the KOLs are doing, what they're buying, what they're selling in real time as well. That's it for now, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these videos. Until then, I will catch you in the next one.